In body cam footage released today, in just 6 seconds, police say 18-year-old Ryan Hinton aims his gun at officers.
He's got a gun!
Police shoot and kill him. Today on MLK Drive, a deputy is working traffic control for UC graduation when a driver crashes into him.
Person who hit the deputy, the father of the person who was shot yesterday?
Yes.
Ryan Hinton's father, 38-year-old Rodney Hinton, is charged with aggravated murder in the deputy's death. He was taken to University Hospital in critical condition. Hours later, the Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy died.
On for 72 hours,
yes,
is that right?
Yes, correct.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much.
Hey yo, first video of the week. Let's get down to business. Let's kick this story over to Cincinnati, Ohio, where we have an officer-involved shooting. But what makes this one a little bit different from usual situations like this is that after the father of the deceased, some are calling him the victim, others are calling him a perpetrator, but after the father was shown the footage, I guess he was in a state of shock, delirium, just anger, wrath, vengeance. He ended up taking his vehicle and running it full speed into a deputy that was not even related to this case. There were people online saying that this was the same officer that had deleted his son the day before. I thought that was a little bit strange because usually they give officers administrative leave following an incident like this. It turns out this was a completely random officer. He was retired and had been working some of the graduation ceremonies at the University of Cincinnati. So he had nothing to do with it. But people are online championing this action by this father. Some are saying it's heroic. Others are saying it's an eye for an eye. Then you have people on the other side saying that he deserves never to see the light of day again. He never deserves to be a free man. He needs to see the firing line wherever that's legal. Real quick. Condolences to the families of the deceased, both the deputy as well as the 18-year-old victim.
In other news tonight, Cincinnati police are sharing body camera video of the moments that led to an officer-involved shooting and killing of a suspect in East Price Hill.
Hi there, Mike. This video is very fast. We're talking about 6 seconds. 6 seconds from the time that officer got out of his vehicle and fired those shots. I do want to warn you, what you're about to watch could be hard to see.
He's got a gun! He's got a gun on your right! On your right!
In a matter of seconds. It all began with a stolen vehicle, a Kia from Edgewood, Kentucky. GPS tracking led the investigation here, a condo complex in East Price Hill. Officers arrived and Chief Terry Thiegy explains what happened next.
These are 4 teenagers in allegedly a stolen vehicle. All right, and you can even read it right here. 2 guns recovered after stolen car tracked. I really want to know, where are all of these teenagers in all of these inner cities across the country getting all of these guns? These politicians make it damn near impossible for law-abiding people in some of these same states to get guns legally, but you see people under 21 having it. They have ones that aren't legal in their states. Like Chicago, they walking around with sticks and stuff like that. Don't they have magazine restrictions and all that? A lot of these kids carrying glizzies with switches and sticks, and it sometimes doesn't even matter the type of upbringing that they're from. They could be from 2-parent households. They could be from middle-class income households and stuff like that, where their parents are involved. Look at John Moran. He was raised middle class. He has both his mother and his father. And still look at him throwing up gun signs, throwing up gang signs, pulling out your gun on IG Live. That's who these kids is looking up to, and that's why a lot of them doing the same things.
One officer decides to pursue the individual who we now know had a firearm in his hand. They heard the metal from the firearm hit the concrete. This individual gets up, still has the firearm in his hand, and continues to run through the dumpster.
This is Ryan Hinton at the epicenter of all of this. He falls down, the firearm scrapes the ground, he gets up and continues running. You're in a stolen car. You have a gun that you shouldn't have on you as an 18-year-old. You start running. I mean, what do you think is going to happen? Some people are reporting that he pointed the gun at officers, while others are saying that he dropped the gun and was just trying to run away. Either way, I don't understand for black people, because that's who's crying about it online. I don't understand how for people that claim that when the police show up, that they're trying to come assassinate black people. They're looking for any reason to escalate the use of force so that they can use deadly force. Okay, let's say he wasn't driving the car. He didn't know it was stolen. When the police pulled up behind him, don't run. Just sit there. You have nothing. It's not you driving. You have nothing to be afraid of. But then brings in the next problem. He has a firearm that he shouldn't be in possession of. Did he bring the firearm into the vehicle? Was it already there? Did somebody tell him to take it and run with it? I don't know. But if somebody hands you a gun and you know that you're not about that life, you have nothing to do with that gun or anything like that, just throw it down, leave it in the car. Let them figure out whose gun it is. Whoever's fingerprints is on it or whatever process, let the police do their job.
The officer who fired the shots was chasing another suspect before he made contact with the armed suspect.
The officer who did discharge his firearm said that when the individual came out between the dumpsters, he had the firearm in front of him. It was in like a bladed position, and it was pointed at the officer.
Now, what sucks is they're always going to take the police officer's word over the civilians. Even if they thought that they were in danger, they're going to believe the police officers reasonably, rationally were in fear of their life, blah, blah, blah. But then when they actually recovered 2 guns at the scene, you're just validating everything that they thought and felt in that moment.
And he felt threatened for his life, and that's why he discharged his firearm.
TG says this is the gun the suspect had.
Look at that. It's like Glock 23 Gen 5, 40 cal, with the stick in it.
A semi-automatic with an extended magazine with another magazine in his pocket.
Let me be very direct. We cannot allow...
If the magazine was in his pocket, you gonna say it's not his gun? At 18 years old?
...individuals to flee from officers with a loaded firearm aimed at them.
In my opinion, this is going to be a justified police shooting, because there's no way that you could be running away, uncooperative, and then they heard the gun scrape the floor, turn back and have a bladed stance towards the police, if even they thought that they saw a gun or heard a gun. The icing on the cake was going to be the guns that they recovered, including the one that had been on Ryan Hinton. And I think the PD, in a gesture of being transparent, released the body cam footage and allowed the family to see it the very next day. Now, you could feel about it being delivered the very next day, however you feel, but the father, I guess, was shown it, and the police noticed that, like, the father was kind of out of it, so they requested if he could get somebody to take him home. So he returns back to the PD station a little bit later to pick up his vehicle, and he's followed by a few other family members and vehicles. And at some point when he leaves, I guess he circles back to the parking lot, then ends up leaving again, and then he makes his way down over to the University of Cincinnati, where he ends up running over Deputy Larry Henderson.
Next tonight, authorities in Ohio say the man who allegedly rammed his car into a sheriff's deputy, killing him, did so intentionally. The suspect appearing in court today is the father of an 18-year-old killed in an officer-involved shooting on Thursday. The suspect charged with aggravated murder. Here's ABC's Christiane Cordero.
Tonight, authorities say the shooting of an 18-year-old captured on police body cam is connected to the death of an Ohio deputy after that teen's father allegedly hit him with a car a day later. Prosecutors say the attack was calculated and premeditated. On Friday, a day after that shooting and 2 hours after the Hinton family reviewed the body camera footage, according to the family's lawyer, a driver crashing a car into a Hamilton County deputy directing traffic near a commencement ceremony, killing him. The suspect, authorities say, is Ryan Hinton's father, Rodney Hinton Jr. At his first court appearance today, Hinton walked through a room packed with law enforcement. He's now charged with aggravated murder.
This is the viral courtroom moments when Rodney Hinton was brought in front of the judge. You see the overwhelming police force they have behind him, trying to intimidate him for what he believes and many others believe that he was justified in doing. You know, giving an eye for an eye. There are people that believe he should not be facing these charges, and they are trying to raise funds for him via GoFundMe or Give, Send, Go, or whatever these platforms are. A lot of his supporters are blaming the police. They don't see anything wrong with what his son did, being in a stolen car, allegedly aiming a firearm at a police officer, and they see nothing wrong with him taking his car and plowing down a random police officer. This officer had nothing to do with this situation. This man was retired and just picking up assignments like at will. No wonder Ryan Hinton was getting into trouble, involved in the wrong company, because look at who his father is. But now what the defense is trying to do is they're trying to say that he was not in his right mind, that after seeing the footage of his son being deleted, that, you know, he went into a state of shock, maybe even hysteria. This is Ryan Hinton's family speaking out for the first time with their attorney, and this is going to be his grandmother. And I just want to peep what she says real quick.
I can't even express how I feel right now about, I'm angry because it shouldn't have never happened. I want to find out exactly what steps was taken in the protocol. And if everything comes out that it's not what it should have been, we need to do something about change in training and diversity and understanding us as a black culture. We as black people, we don't deserve to be killed just because we're running away from the police.
And when you have people like this running the black family, it's no mystery why it's in the state that it is. Why black people account for 16% of the population but make up the majority in the prisons. Do you really have to wonder it? The police have to redo their training for more diversity to understand that when black people are running...
And understanding us as a black culture. We as black people, we don't deserve to be killed just because we're running away from the police. We're scared just as much as they are.
No accountability. The police need more diversity training on when black people start running away. What is so hard with black people complying with police officers? If they say stop, freeze, you were in the wrong, you were in a stolen car, you got caught, you had the gun on you, you decided to start running on foot, but it's still the police's fault? Black people will blame everybody in a situation except for the person whose fault it is. Defending criminals up and down, even in this situation, defending the father for killing a deputy that had nothing to do with this situation. His son was wrong. And it's going to end up being justified, in my opinion. But this is the grandmother. It's always everyone else's fault. It's racism. It's the police. It's President Trump. It's DEI. It's the illegals. It's slavery, even though you never been a slave, your parents never been a slave, your grandparents was probably never slaves. It's redlining. It's gentrification. Meanwhile, these illegals are being rounded up by Tom Homan and ICE, and you don't hear about any of these situations. I haven't heard any situation where an immigrant is trying to be detained by ICE or one of these agencies, and it ends up getting deadly. And these people don't even speak English. But no, retrain the officers. The officers need to understand that when a black person's running away, no, They no longer pose a threat, and they just need to let that person go home to their family, right? I appreciate you making it this far in the video. What do you think about this whole situation, from Ryan Hinton jumping out of the car and the police officers shooting him, to his father being shown the footage hours later in what I think is an effort to be full transparency, but the father, some might say, losing his mind, and then going and driving into a random police officer in hopes of getting some sort of revenge? Do you think that this father is father of the century, an eye for an eye? If the officers are going to be out here emboldened to delete black people, unarmed, whether armed or unarmed, then they need to understand the consequences when people start reacting to their actions. Police for far too long have gone unchecked by the public when they assault people, when they escalate the use of force on people. The catalyst that set this whole thing into action was just incompetence by the police officers. They should have understood that this was a young kid that wasn't going to do anything with that firearm. He was just holding it for a friend. Even when he pointed it at him, that this kid was on the up and up. Or do you think Rodney Hinton was a crash out? That he should have just let the court case and investigation run its course and prove that his son was unjustifiably killed, that his son was a great student, 4.5 GPA, headed to college on a full scholarship, and this tore his whole world down. His attorneys are trying to argue that he lost his mind when he saw that body cam footage. I think there were mistakes on all sides for people whose last name is Hinton. All right, Ryan Hinton should not have jumped out of the vehicle. He should not have had the vehicle. He should not have even been in that vehicle, honestly. But if he didn't know it was stolen, he should not have jumped out, should not have had a firearm on him, you know, put it down, left it in the car, whatever it was, just complied, and, you know, maybe things would have gone a little bit differently. I think the officers are going to end up being justified in this shooting because he ran. He had a firearm on him. He points it back at the police. They say they're in fear for their life. We've seen this play out time and time and time again. To the people out there saying that this was a father avenging his son's death, well, now that father could very well die in prison. His son is already gone from this planet. His family now has lost essentially two people. In the end, what did he really achieve? You know, and I'm not advocating for violence, but he did not delete the officer that deleted his son. You know, he just left a bunch of families with a bunch of broken pieces that now they got to pick up for themselves. That's all I really got to say on it for now. Let me know whatever your thoughts are in the comment section. Till the next video, man, y'all be safe and stay wavy.
Repetition is the father of learning.